I had to.
Yeah.
I had to do it. Let me get my seat here. Hello everybody, welcome to our vlog.
Hello, hello, hello.
Aaron is back in lieu of being absent yesterday.
And the day before.
And the day before.
And the day before.
And the day before that as well.
Indeed.
He has some explaining to... No, I'm just kidding.
You have some explaining to do, sir.
You sure do.
Yeah.
But for today's vlog, we figured we would talk about some mental health stuff.
I've never participated in a mental health vlog with you before. It's
Right.
my first time.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yes, it should be interesting.
Indeed.
So, do you have any questions you would like to ask?
I do. I have one question I think would be what's most present on my mind at the time. So it's about establishing trust and a rapport with a counselor or a psychologist. What that process is like, and you know, what's more pressing for you, what's most important for you in that process, at the outset of that process.
Well, the biggest thing that I notice about my counselors that I've had is I can tell when one of them is just going by the books and going through the motions, and the other is that I can tell when my counselors actually care. And that means I've had counselors go above and beyond for me, and for that I'm very, very grateful.
Do you mind if I ask you a question really quick?
Sure.
So, for the counselors who you can tell aren't as invested as they should be, or how you perceive them to be, do you mind describing them in a few quick bullet points, what they're like?
Describing the ones that aren't?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, like, for instance, I had one that was more interested in her computer than talking to me. She didn't maintain eye contact very well. Her body language was more turned away from me, like she was less interested and engaged in what I was telling her. Excuse me. And I think that was the biggest thing, is I could tell that her attention was somewhere else. Whereas my other two counselors, well, the three counselors, I can tell that they're actually engaged in the conversation that we're having. They're not just waiting for the 45 minutes to go by just to go through the motions. You know, and you can tell if a counselor's invested in their job or not, you know, just in my personal experiences. Luckily, I've been fortunate enough to have some very good counselors. Only for brief amounts of time when one of my counselors was out, I had to have a different counselor for a day or whatever. And in those short period of times when stuff like that were to happen, there's one counselor I can think of in particular, and I could tell she wasn't very interested in what I had to say, and I attribute that to her only having to stand in for one session because my counselor was on vacation or something.
Oh, yeah.
So she was just a fill-in.
Yeah. So she was completely detached from it.
Yeah, she was just going through the motions. And it's like night and day with my counselors. You know, as far as that one that was just a fill-in as opposed to the ones I have currently.
Do you mind if I ask you another question?
Please do.
So even with the counselors that are very, I would say, competent, right?
Yeah.
With those counselors, I would assume even though you feel comfortable, you still are kind of apprehensive at times to divulge certain things to them.
Right.
Would you mind expounding upon what makes you comfortable to then take that next step, that next crucial step to really divulge personal information, that way you can begin to make real substantive progress in your treatment? Yeah,
absolutely. I think the biggest thing is that it's a slow process. Because with anyone, you got to be able to trust them, especially a counselor. Not like they're going to go running their mouth all over the place, because you know that's not what they do. But you got to have a feeling that you can trust this person, and you have to have a feeling of you gotta find out, or how can I say it? You got to know that they care. And the biggest thing with counseling too is the whole medication thing. That's like one whole other part. Counseling is where you got to put the work in, and the more open and honest you are with your counselor, the better the results will be. The more you tell them, the more they can help you. And that's the best piece of advice I can give. Like, even if it's something that's been bothering you and you don't want to tell anyone else, tell your counselor. They're there to help you. And as I said before, the more information you give them, the more they can help you. That's what I've learned from my trials and tribulations through counseling. The more open you are, the more they respect you, and then that also builds up like trust. Like, for instance, when I was still drinking, I would tell my counselors ahead of time that I drank. And just telling them stuff like that, they got to know, like, okay, Brandon's, what he's telling us is credible because he's being open and honest. Even though he did something bad, like drink, he was still open about it and told us about it. So we were able to build trust in him. So that we know that when we have conversations with him about anything else, that he's going to be forthright. So.
I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Seeing it's coming from a non-practitioner point of view, from more of a patient's point of view, if you had one piece of advice to give to potential future practitioners or those who are currently in the industry, who are in the mental health industry and dedicating their lives to helping other people, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give to these people?
Wow, that's a good question.
I mean, obviously there's a bunch of things that you would be able to touch upon,
Right.
this and that, but if you had to just choose one thing, what would that one thing be?
One thing to tell the people getting into the field.
Yes.
I would say don't do it unless your heart's in it, because this is serious stuff. There's people who come in for counseling that have had traumatic experiences, and they need that comfort and that trust from somebody who's going to actually care and do their job, not just go there to get a paycheck or whatever. You need to have empathy, and you need to really be open-minded, because you're gonna deal with all kinds of problems that people have, and you got to be ready for it, and you got to be ready to handle somebody opening up to you about things they might not even told their own parents or their friends or their siblings, and they're gonna entrust you with what they have to tell you, what that's inside that's bothering them, and trying to get to the root cause of why they feel the way they do. So I would say definitely make sure you're dedicated and that your heart's in it. If not, you're in the wrong field, because in this field, it's all about helping people feel better, helping people get better. It's all about promoting wellness, and it's also about taking that stigma off of mental illness, which that is one of the biggest fights that anyone with mental illness deals with. And having more people out there to take care of that, the stigma of mental illness, the better. It's just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, and you gotta treat each client or person as such. Mental illness is a serious thing. A lot of people don't take it very seriously, so that's why I say again, don't do it unless your heart's in it, and that you're gonna stay dedicated to it, because there's people out there who need legit help, and I think that's important that we have people that really do care. So there you go.
Wow, I really enjoyed that. So
Likewise.
I enjoyed that one.
Me too.
So I guess we can wrap it up there.
Yeah.
I guess, and hopefully maybe do more of these. I don't know why we've waited so long to do one of these together. Kind of been focusing on other things for whatever reasons, but I kind of want to shake your hand on that.
Likewise.
All right. Well,
That's a good one.
enjoy that, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too, and tune in for the next one.
Yep, sounds good. We will see you guys soon. And as always, that was a good one.